At some point in the last few years, something shifted. Not in the headlines, underneath them. People stopped asking what artificial intelligence would do to the world and started asking something quieter, something they would not say in the meeting. Something that arrives at night when the notifications stop and the room finally goes still. Will I still matter? That's the real question underneath this moment. Not will humanity survive? Will I survive it? Will I still be needed? Will I still be chosen? Will what I built with my life still mean something when the thing I've spent years becoming can be approximated in seconds? That fear does not have a product solution. It does not have a policy solution. It has a human one. And that is what I want to talk about today. So let me tell you what we built. 20 years ago, we put the internet in everyone's pocket. We connected 7 billion people. We gave a teenager in Lagos the same camera as a Hollywood director, a musician in Appalachia the same studio as a Grammy winner, a writer in a one-bedroom apartment the same reach as the New York Times, and we called it democratization. And we were right. The algorithmic age made us creators, all of us. But here's what we did not say out loud. We democratized creation. We never fully democratized emergence. We gave everyone a stage and a mic. We handed them the algorithm and we said, good luck. Post, hope, refresh. Maybe the feed chooses you, maybe not. But we call that opportunity. And then artificial intelligence entered the room. And now we are living inside a question that we never meant to ask. The algorithmic age made us creators. AI is removing the work of creation, the writing, the editing, the designing, the composing, the things that we've spent decades learning how to do, approximated in seconds. And underneath it all, underneath these conversations about disruption and productivity, there's a quieter crisis, not economic, existential. Because we did not teach people to work. We taught them to become through work. The title, the output, the reputation, the thing that answered the question at every dinner party and every networking event and every first conversation with someone new. When they said, what do you do? They were asking, who are you? Remove the work. Who remains? See, we talk about that fear as though it's civilizational, as though people lie awake at night worried about humanity in the abstract. They do not. They lie awake worried about themselves. Will I still matter when the algorithm can generate thousands of voices that sound like mine? Will I still be needed when a system can do in seconds what it took me years to learn? Will I still be chosen? Will I still be here in any way that counts? That's the fear nobody is naming in the keynote rooms and the earning calls and the think pieces. And I think until we name it honestly, we cannot answer it honestly. So let me try to answer it. Here's what I know from my own life. There was a moment when everything went quiet enough to hear the question underneath the noise. What kind of life am I actually trying to build? See, I'd spent decades creating things, businesses, ideas, systems, but I'd never stopped to ask whether the life underneath it could breathe. I built a business called Foragé Atelier, and I carried it the way most founders carry their companies. Like if I stopped watching it for a single moment, it would stop existing. Every role was mine. Every decision was mine. Every breath required my presence. Then I left for 3 days. And while I was gone, the orders came in. I mean, more than I had seen outside the launch. I remember sitting on my friend's sofa and looking at my phone and saying, I don't know what this is, but it's good. And see, a job needs you for every breath, but a living thing breathes on its own. And for the first time, I realized I had built something alive, not because I was indispensable to it, but because I'd finally built something larger than my own anxiety about surviving. That is the answer to that fear. Not that you will be needed forever exactly as you are, but that what you build, when you build from the right place, keeps breathing even when you step away from it. You are not your output. You never were. I think that is the design problem in front of us right now. Not the next device, not the next platform, not the next feature cycle. The question is whether we can build things, technologies, companies, cultures that help human beings breathe, that help people become more than their output, that understand the difference between connection and anchoring, between access and presence, between productivity and becoming. Because people are already redesigning their lives without waiting for the industry to catch up. They are building edges around their attention, protecting their mornings, choosing presence over access. They are creating space inside lives that technology filled without asking for permission. They are not rejecting technology. They are demanding that technology finally understand them, not as users, not as engagement metrics, as human beings moving through states. States like walking slowly, creating, loving, grieving, resting, becoming. The most successful technology of the next decade will not be the most powerful. It will be the most human. Years ago, I opened a white MacBook with nothing to make. Today, I stand here having made something, not a product, a question. The algorithmic age made us all creators. AI removed the work. The post notification era is asking what kind of human needs to emerge to survive it. That human is already forming in the businesses built to breathe, in the relationships that choose anchoring over chemistry, in the creators who stop waiting for the algorithm and built their own pathways instead. No, they are not nostalgic. They are not anti technology. They are trying to build something harder, a life that does not require constant defense, a career that does not require constant performance, a technology that does not require constant surrender. They are trying to build something that breathes. And I think that is the most important design brief in the world right now. Not for engineers alone, for all of us. Because the question is not what technology will do to humanity. The question is what kind of human are we willing to become? That emergence does not begin with a product launch. It begins with a question asked quietly in a room that has finally gone still enough to hear it. Will I still matter? Yes, but not in the way that you think, but not because the algorithm chose you, because you chose yourself. Not with what you make, but with who you become in the making.